So when I work with couples, I often talk to them about love and lust. And I've got a very specific definition for love and lust in a relationship. So let me give you the definition first. When you love someone, you focus on that person with a deep affection and for the benefit of that other person. When you lust someone, you focus on yourself with a deep affection in that relationship for your own benefit in that relationship. Now, it's in my mind, it should be obvious for everyone why it is beneficial to be loving in a relationship. What would you say is the benefit of having that attitude of love in a relationship?
First of all, I think it's in our human nature to focus on ourselves and not on our spouse. So that's something that we have to practice and learn in marriage and in a relationship. Yes, I think it's very fulfilling in life to focus on the other person, and it will have a very good and positive effect on your relationships.
Because it builds on each other, isn't it? So if I love someone in this definition, then I'm focusing on that person with a deep affection for their benefit. And when somebody experiences that, they're very inclined to reciprocate. So they would like to give you the same as they have received. And I find that love just builds on each other, unifies the two more, and it becomes a beautiful, perfect relationship that is a miracle or a mystery to the human being, because you can't understand that. I mean, that is the main tool making it possible for you to actually be more in love with your spouse 30 years down the line than you were when you got married. Whereas when you lust your spouse, you're in that relationship and it's all about me. So I focus on myself for my own benefit with the affection to myself. And that has got some very negative impacts on the relationship. What would you think is the impact of that?
Yes, I think the other spouse will feel like an object.
Yes.
And he must just be there to please the other person and to do everything that the other person wants. And there is not the real love. It is always love with a condition.
Yes. Yes.
And it will also spill over to the children and to the extended family. And there cannot be trust, and so it has a very negative impact.
It's very destructive, and at best your spouse will then feel like a tool in your life. They at best they will feel used. It is a definite. The chances are very big that your spouse feels abused as well, because if I am just in this relationship and because I'm a tool of yours, then I will never feel like I'm really appreciated or really part of this relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. So I hope that we can encourage you to rethink the way you think about your spouse, to really ask yourself, am I in this relationship for the benefit of my spouse? Am I in this relationship do I actually have a deep affection for my spouse? And does my spouse feel like a tool or like a treasure in my life?
Yeah. We must remind ourselves every day that we want to ask the question, what does my spouse need? Not what I need.
Yeah.
But how can I keep my spouse happy? And that's something that we have to teach ourselves, because it doesn't come naturally.
No, because naturally we are very self-centered. That is our natural response. It is not a natural thing to be focused on the other person. And that's why I think a relationship that works perfectly is actually referred to in the Bible often, or referred to in the Bible as a mystery, a miracle. And I think it is because people get taught to look away from themselves, and it's not a natural thing, but it is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's actually a paradox, because the more you look to your spouse away from you, the happier you are.
Yeah.
So,
and it just flows one into the other, right? So I hope we can encourage you today to rethink the way that you think about your spouse, to rethink your relationship, and turn your relationship from a lustful relationship to a loving relationship. Have fun.